All right, you should be good now. That doesn't stop sharing. All right,
Golden.
no, I'll look at it.
All right, I will call this special meeting for the Board of Canvassers to order November 14th, 2025 at 12:01 a.m. And we will stand for the pledge.
That's not AM.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, so our first general business action item is approval of the minutes for July 3rd, 2024 and November 18th, 2024. Motion, anyone? Mike, please. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
To approve the minutes for July 3rd, 2024 and November 18th, 2024.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner McCurdy, second by Commissioner Martinez. Any discussion? Seeing none. All in favor? Passes. 6 with 1 absent, Commissioner McGann. 6 in favor. All right, moving on to item number 2. Canvass of the 2025 local special election. Mr. Wojtek.
Thank you, Chair. So this is the action that this board takes after every election to certify the results of the said election. And to be clear, there's a lot of data and information here provided in the Canvass report as required by statutes. But we are certifying today the results of the local special election, which consisted of Proposition 13 only. The City Council, Moab City Council met on Wednesday, and I think it was Wednesday, yeah. And they certified the results of the municipal general election. But I think it's important or interesting and relevant to include results and information and data from either election for this record. And so there's a standardized Canvass statistics report. That's something that we work with the state and sort of getting together just so that each county is reporting the same data, so there can be a comparative analysis as needed. It's all pretty self-explanatory and well designed and explained as would be expected. And then my office prepares a few additional statistics that we've been putting together after every election for the past couple few years. So we'll keep kind of with this data, and just so that we can compare these numbers year over year and from election to election. And so there's some information about previous year turnout comparison between unincorporated county precincts that only received a ballot with Proposition 13 on it. And then overall voter turnout countywide, including city voters. Mike, did you have a question?
Nope.
Okay. And then, so 53%, as you can see, the turnout from unincorporated county precincts only, that's quite low. We expected it to be lower. But any number of conclusions can be drawn. There might have just been usually in an odd year like this year, there's just generally less enthusiasm and turnout, or there's just not expected to be a ballot in the county. And perhaps folks saw a ballot with one issue and no actual candidates. There just might have been less interest for that reason. Another thing that's kind of relevant to point out or interesting to note is that ballots returned via Dropbox. So folks that didn't put their voted ballot back in the mail to be returned to the post office and collected by my office. So there was a lot more participation of physical returns via Dropbox. which I'm glad if people are more comfortable with that and that option is available, and will continue to be available. It also prevents us from having to pay return postage. So it actually saves the county some money. So that both are available, I think is great, and that, you know, they're both being used in that way. Other than that, there wasn't an extraordinary amount of provisional ballots or military and overseas ballots. The amount of ballots needing to be cured, which is when we get ballots back that lack a signature or digit or the identification digits that we required this year, that was lessened. And I think that's largely due to the introduction of those last 4 digits of ID that we were asked of voters for this election. I think that's was a new thing that people likely noticed, and then there wasn't, you know, signature discrepancies inevitably always come up, and so comparing the last 4 digits is obviously there's no subjectivity or really sort of there's no art to that, I would say. But yeah, let's see. And then in this, we also performed a ballot audit, which one member of the Board of Canvassers, thank you, Melody, she attended and participated in. And also Summer Johnson, the city recorder, did as well. And so in that process, and this is a report as a result of that audit, there was a hand count of 240 ballots. And that was compared against the cast vote record, or how our software processed those ballots and counted the votes on those ballots. And so that the results of that batch of ballots that our software produced matched exactly the results of the hand count that Commissioner McCandless and Recorder Johnson completed this week. So that's not a surprise, but in any way, obviously a very good thing to have confirmed. Let's see. And our reconciliation is right on. So that means the amount of ballots counted and vote histories that we have in our voter registration database that tracks all such things matches exactly the amount of physical ballots that we have tracked in our ballot chain of custody. So it was a really great, clean election. I feel really strong going into the next one, and we'll just be able to keep improving around the margins. We got a new digital poll pad. It's like an iPad that we have at our front counter. And that really offered a lot of efficiency with processing folks coming up to the window and getting them ready to vote. And so, yeah, we've been able to like really add on little things with help funding support from the state and just keep improving our processes. And a big, huge thank you to Elections Coordinator Emily Valentine, and also the rest of the clerk auditor staff, Jenny Beth Jones, Crystal Santana, Chris Williams, and that a big thank you to as well to Sabrina Sanders for coming and helping us a little bit too on call. And then just the rest of this report includes summary results that are pulled directly from our election management software. Again, there's results for all precincts and then results for unincorporated precincts only, and those unincorporated precinct results in addition to the Proposition 13 results related to the Proposition those are also, we're certifying. And then, so yeah, there's just a lot of information regarding every voting precinct and how the results played out there. And then after all of these results reports, this is a new thing that is included in the Canvass report, which is actually a cast vote record. And so it actually shows the vote, you know, sort of the vote record of each ballot received, obviously completely anonymized. But that's a new statutory requirement and something that had been sort of carefully guarded and withheld up until now. Is there anything I might be missing, Emily, that you can think of? Okay, any questions that anyone might have?
I formulated one.
Okay.
53.54%. I mean, attributed to just not a presidential election.
Yeah.
It seems low priority.
Yeah. I think not even, I mean, even a midterm, like even next year's election, we would expect to see just generally lower turnout, like a 78%.
Yeah.
Compared to a 94% presidential, but this is just one step lower, just, kind of, the way it came about and just kind of really sort of out of turn and unexpected, is my best guess or theory, Mhm.
I do wonder how many people saw the new requirements as far as digits go and made a choice not to vote this year, and maybe they'll vote in future elections, but yeah, we got mixed feedback on that, and it was a state required change that we put into effect a year early, but I don't know how much it affected it, but I think that's also a possibility.
Oh, we can see how it plays out over the next,
Mhm.
I mean, get a lot of averages here,
Exactly.
so, yeah.
I have one question, Gabe.
Sure.
You have great numbers here. But what when somebody votes at your machine rather than using a ballot? Is there a distinction in your numbers anywhere that somebody that just wants to come in and old school, am I just missing it, or? It doesn't really matter. I was just curious how many people utilize your
Yeah.
machine out there.
That would be the in the second section there. 42 and 117.
Yep.
Okay.
But that wouldn't count folks that were, let's see, that would count folks that didn't want to use their mail ballot that they received. You know what I'm saying? Because we did have folks that might have received a mail ballot, but they didn't want to vote that way.
Yeah, I was just curious. It doesn't matter, but
Yeah.
Yeah, so people are gonna start having to opt in or out of by mail ballot if they want to receive a mail ballot past or starting in 2029, they'll have to opt in. We had a handful of people that opted out ahead of that just got their registrations in that kind of window where they started asking it on the registration form, but I don't really have a number that reflects how many people didn't actually receive a ballot because they opted out.
Do you remember how many tickets total we produced for using the poll pad? Like a rough idea? Was it like
159
that was 159?
of like just total in-person voters.
Okay, so I think 159 actually is your answer then. That would encompass those folks that came in even if they did receive a mail ballot.
yeah,
Mhm.
perfect.
Yep.
Yes, Commissioner McCurdy.
So, okay.
No, I was just going like this.
I'd like to make a motion. Move to certify the results of the 2025 local special election held on November 4th, 2025, as presented with Proposition 13 winning approval from the voters of Grand County.
Motion by Commissioner McCurdy,
I'll second.
second by Commissioner Adler. Any further discussion, questions?
Thanks for running another great election, Gabe.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you, Emily.
Didn't hear any complaints. I think you guys did an awesome
And
job.
congrats.
Thank you.
Yay.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 6 with 1 absent, Commissioner McGann. All right, with that, I will adjourn this meeting, special meeting of the Board of Canvassers, November 14th, 2025 at 12:15 PM.